Hi and welcome. This is Coach Andréa Crisp's Introduction to EFT video. So thank you for joining me. I'm just going to go through quickly what is referred to in the industry as the shortcut method for emotional freedom techniques or meridian tapping. And this is the method that's most commonly used. There is a little bit longer version, but over the years, Gary Craig, the founder, and other people have figured out that the shortcut worked just as well in most cases. And so for most of the EFT sessions that we'll be doing together, we'll be doing this shortcut. And if we need to use the slightly longer original recipe, I'll introduce you to that at the time. It's not that much longer, but this one's a little bit shorter, and this is what we're going to use for most of our sessions. So basically, I'm going to run through the various points in EFT and just talk a little bit about the setup statement. So once you have figured out what your issue or problem is that you're going to be tapping on, and you've gotten some of those words, and you've rated the intensity of that issue. So we refer to that as the SUDS, the subjective units of distress. It's like if you are ever in your doctor's office with pain and they show you the little thing with all the smiley face at one end, and then it gets to the really upset face at the other end. It's a scale from 0 to 10, the intensity that you're feeling. So you want to take note of what that SUDS level is and write that down or discuss that with your practitioner. And then you're going to start with tapping on this side of the hand point, and it's really this fleshy part that is below the fingers, right on the edge of your palm. And when we're tapping in EFT, it doesn't have to be really intense. So you definitely want to be making contact, but it doesn't need to be like a banging. It doesn't need to be any way uncomfortable or painful. So it's just a light tapping. You can use 2 fingers if you want. You can use all of your fingers. You can do it like this. It's whatever's comfortable for you. The other point that can be used during the setup statement is called the tender spot. And basically, we have a whole bunch of lymph nodes, which are these glands. They're throughout our body, but we have a lot right here in the chest. And if you start just kind of feeling around with 2 fingers, you'll find, there it is. You'll find a tender spot or a few spots that are more sore. Now, this spot can move around a little bit, and it's going to be in a little bit different location for each person. And one side might be more sore than the other. It's going to vary every time. But basically, you can rub this spot once you find the sore spots. I have it on either side. And you can rub this during that setup statement that will repeat 3 times. So the side of the hand or this tender spot. And I personally use both back and forth. Some people are only using the side of the hand, and that's fine. It's whatever's comfortable and whatever works for you. I really like the spot. And Gary Craig actually really likes the spot. He just didn't use it when he was recording videos or doing it up on stage because it's a little more difficult to explain to people. So to save time, his videos, he uses the spot less, but he actually really likes the spot. And I personally have found good results myself. So it's whatever you decide you want to do and what's comfortable and what works for you. So in the beginning, we're going to do the side of the hand or the tender spot, and you're going to repeat, even though I have this problem, whatever the problem is. So it might be an issue, an emotion is really what we're looking for. But the emotion, the pain, that's what you're going to put in this in-between part. So even though I have this problem or emotion, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this problem, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this problem, I deeply and completely accept myself. And then once you've done 3 statements for that setup statement, we're going to move on to what we refer to as the sequence. And I like to start with the top of the head. I also sometimes end with the top of the head. That's just a habit that I got into. It's not actually necessary to do it at the beginning and the end. And I don't do it every time, but I like to point that out because when you're working with me in session, you may see me do that. It just somehow was a habit that I developed over the years. I like the top of the head point. This is called the governing meridian in Chinese, traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture. And it governs what's happening in the rest of our body. So you can start with the top of the head, and you can use both hands if you would like, or you can just do one, but it's literally the center top of the head is what we're going for with this top of the head point. The next point is the eyebrow point. And when I say eyebrows, I actually mean eyebrows. It's like right here, right in the very end and edge of your eyebrow. And again, when we go through these points, you can do two at the same time, or you can just do one. It's whatever's comfortable for you. I have this nifty little tool that is called an AccuPen, and I'm going to use this a few times during the video to show you that you can find actually, do you hear that? The acupoint. The closer you get to the real point, the faster it beeps. So it really is on the very edge. It's on this bone, the occipital bone, that is where we refer to, if you're not if you're not somebody who's done anatomy for whatever reason that you might take an anatomy class, we call this our eye socket, but that's what we're going to be tapping on when we do these points around the eyes. So eyebrow point, side of the eye, again, it's right on the edge of the eye on this bone. And you can do 2 fingers, you can use 3 fingers, whatever's comfortable for you. The next point is directly underneath the eye. And this one is, again, on the bone, and it's about 1 inch below your pupil. So right in line with your pupil, you're going to tap on that. And every time we're tapping, we're doing about 7 times. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. Depending on what's going on in the session, I might linger on a point longer one time versus the other, but it's just a handful of times, up and down quickly. Doesn't need to be hard. Under the eye, directly under the pupils. The next point is under the nose. So really is right under the nose. Again, I'm going to use this AccuPen. Make sure that I have it turned up all the way so it's louder. So if you see where that is, it really is directly under the nose. And then again, the chin point is this spot that is in between. It's not actually on the end of your chin. It's in between your chin and your lips. Right here, you're going to tap. I always make a face when I do this one because I'm trying to get my lip out of the way. I kind of suck my lip in. Just one of the fun things of working with me. See that? It is right directly under the lip. All right. So under the nose. It's really under the lip, but we call this the chin point. The next point is the collarbone point. So you can't totally see my collarbones. I have one that's crooked because I broke it when I was in 8th grade. But if you feel along your collarbones to where it comes into this point here, there's kind of a U shape that's right here. When you get to that U where the collarbones come together, you're going to go down about 1 inch, but you're going to go a little bit diagonally. And you can feel around. There's a little bit of a more indention or soft spot, and it's on either side. So again, you can go like this with both hands. What a lot of people do is they'll just use their palm like this so that it's stimulating everything. You'll sometimes see me put my thumb on one point and my other fingers, and I'll do it like this. Depends what jewelry I'm wearing, because sometimes I forget and I have a necklace that gets in the way, like while I'm recording this video. But basically, if you do this, you'll stimulate both of those points right here on the collarbone. That is referred to as K27 in acupuncture world. All right. The next one is under the arm. And this under the arm one is not in your armpit. It's about 4 inches underneath. So for women, this is easy because it's right where the bra strap would go. So as the bra is going around the back, you would just tap in that area. Again, this is another one that you can get both sides. So you can give yourself a nice little hug, yay, and you can tap underneath the arm. But just doing one side is fine. Again, it's whatever feels comfortable for you. When I go through, I do 2 hands on some points and 1 hand on other points, and it's not always exactly the same. The next point is not one that everyone uses, but I added this one in years ago when I first started doing EFT after hearing an acupuncturist who also did EFT talk about adding this point in. And there are reasons. I won't get into a huge discussion of that now, but it's the wrist points. So in the original recipe, there are some points that are in the hand that we drop out. But by adding the wrists in, there's a bunch of different meridians, including the triple warmer that run through here, that are important for a lot of different things. And it's just really easy to add in the wrist point and get a bunch of those meridians all at once without doing the whole original recipe and the other things that are involved in that. And so what I like to do with the wrist points is I will take the insides and go like this, and then the outsides like this because they're meridians on both sides. Or I'll do the inside of one to the outside of the other and go like this. Again, it's totally what is comfortable for you. There are a lot of different points in the wrists. I'm going to point one out right here if I can find it. And I'll just bring that up. So there's one right there, but there's a bunch of others that are throughout this area that work for different reasons. And so because of that, I have added the wrist points in. If you're working with me and you've been doing EFT before our sessions together and you don't want to use the wrist points, that's totally fine. I'll use the points that you're familiar with and that you have discovered work for you. But this is one that I have had success with, and it's really fast and easy to just add it in, so I leave it there. There are some other points that may get used if we're working on something specific. The liver point is one that I will pull out if someone is working on something specifically to do with anger. And there's a few others. The liver point is the one that is the most common for me to add in sometimes. So that is really it. So we're just going to go through really quickly. Even though I have this issue or problem, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this issue or problem, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this issue, this problem, I deeply and completely accept myself. Top of the head, eyebrow point, this problem, outer eye, this issue, under the eye, this problem, under the nose, this issue, chin point, this issue, collarbone point, this issue, under the arm, this issue, wrists, this issue. All right, that is an introduction to the EFT tapping points. Thanks so much for choosing me to be your EFT coach, and I look forward to working with you. Bye.